Severe weather has always been a part of life here in North Texas, but some events stand out for their power and their impact. On May 23rd, 2015, not only did 2 tornadoes touch down in North Texas, flash flooding shut down major roads and swept through entire neighborhoods. WFAA crews were live all over the place, capturing the destruction in real time and sharing the stories of those who were caught in the storm. For this special, we are going to revisit that coverage.
Live from WFAA, this is News 8 at 10.
Heavy rain across North Texas falling onto already saturated ground. The weather has proven deadly too, and at least one area considering evacuations tonight. But this may be just the beginning, with much more rain to come in the hours ahead. Welcome to News 8 on this Saturday evening. I'm Jason Wheeler. Part of North Texas under a tornado watch right now, and all of us under a flash flood watch this evening. It's all part of a system that spawned a wedge tornado just southwest of Oklahoma City near Pocasset. We've seen lots of tornado warnings from Oklahoma to the Austin and San Antonio areas tonight. This is a very widespread system. For us, though, the main story is the rain. One of our producers periscoped just a short time ago, sharing what he was calling a monsoon coming down in a neighborhood near Love Field. Tonight we have a team of reporters all over North Texas, from Wise and Denton counties to the Red River and here in DFW. A live look now at the roads in Dallas County from our Victory Park tower cam. It's tapered off here in just the last few minutes. Driving in this weather, though, has already proven deadly tonight. One crash shutting down part of I-30 in Rowlett. Let's get straight to Demond Fernandez for more on that. Demond.
And Jason, I'll tell you, that fatal crash happened right back here on I-30. I'll get out of the way. You can still see some of the damaged vehicles on the eastbound lanes over there. I'll tell you, the crews have had the eastbound lanes shut down and blocked off for about 4 hours so far tonight. Now, some drivers who witnessed the crash today told me the highway was pretty slick and rain was coming down pretty hard when it happened. Right now, crews are busy removing several of the damaged 18-wheelers and passenger cars that were involved. Police say this chaos initially began on the westbound lanes of I-30 near Dow Rock Road. They say one of the semis crashed through the concrete divider and into the eastbound lanes. That impact triggered a series of additional crashes. So far tonight, police are confirming one person died. Several other drivers, we're told, are now being treated at nearby hospitals. Their identities of those drivers involved are not being released at this time. Now, police say the eastbound lanes of I-30 will remain blocked off between Horizon and Dow Rock for quite some time tonight. In Rockwall, Demond Fernandez, Channel 8 News.
Thank you. Another place we've seen lots of problems the past few weeks has been in Denton County, where there's been talk tonight of a possible evacuation in Crum. We want to get out to Jenny Doran in Denton County for the latest on this now. Jenny?
Well, Jason, first responders are fanned out all over Denton County tonight, ready for rescues. This area keeps getting hammered by severe weather, and I want to show you some heroes through all of this. Take a look. This is Texas Task Force 1, now huddled up here at Station 7 in the city of Denton. The team of 12 will roll out as soon as a call for help comes in. They have 4 swiftwater rescue boats and helicopters on standby too, and they're also partnering with the National Guard. They have been leaned upon heavily in the past few weeks. About an hour ago, we visited with Crum's assistant fire chief, who showed us neighborhoods that keep getting swept up in water. Several families had to be airlifted out just days ago. Chief Matt Kilgore says too often folks don't obey the saying, turn around, don't drown, or they ignore the cries to evacuate. And no one wants a repeat of what keeps happening here.
We risk our lives, or we risk our safety for others. That's what we do. Well, when people get trapped and feel like maybe they've been warned to get out and you have to go rescue them, it's a little disheartening.
Now, these emergency crews are ready for a very long night ahead and even longer weekend. They are prepared for the worst. I can tell you that here in Denton County, over the past few hours, we've seen a very steady rain, but about 15 minutes ago, it seemed to taper off. So hopefully we've dodged a bullet here. But again, these guys, they'll be out here all night, and if anybody needs help, they'll roll out immediately. Jason?
It looks like it could still be a long night ahead. Jenny, thanks for the update there. Pilots and their rescue teams have been busy here in recent weeks, of course, plucking people to safety, including that couple from last weekend. A lot of us watched that one live on TV as it happened. Members of the Texas Army National Guard are once again on standby for more possible rescues. We saw some of their Chinook helicopters ready to go at the Grand Prairie Airport today. In fact, while we were there, the first call for help came in. This helicopter went to Wichita Falls today to help with flooding emergencies up that way. Other than that launch, though, so far the rescuers haven't been needed today in North Texas, and let's hope it stays that way. We want to get out now to Philip Townsend, who's checking out the conditions in our western counties for us this evening. Philip, how's it looking out that way?
Faring pretty well for now. It's been a steady sprinkle, I'll call it, for the past few hours. Nothing too crazy at this point. It's damp here. I'm in Rome. This is just off of 287 near the Dairy Queen in Wells Fargo. We've been driving around Wise County through Rome and Decatur. Sort of the same story. I'd say Rome and Boyd had the most of the rain in this county so far. But again, we can only expect it to get worse or in the next several hours. It hasn't been that bad here. Now, it's gotten to that point, though, in this weather we've had the past couple of months where we're taking preventative measures. Other counties we were at today, Tarrant County, they were handing out sandbags to give and distribute throughout town so people can get those in place before the flooding happens. And again, that's the case here. We want to make sure we're taking those preventative measures, but right now it's not too bad here in Rome and Wise County. Not even raining at this point, Jason.
Our Tanya Iser traveled from DFW to the Texas-Oklahoma border earlier this evening to check out the situation to our north, and she found roads along 35 washed out and the Red River swollen and threatening, and she is live out there tonight. How's it looking, Tanya?
Well, Jason, we're at exit 504. We're just on the Texas-Oklahoma line. We're just outside of Gainesville, and as you can see, the water is lapping up onto the roadway. Just take a look at that sign. It says 14 foot 6 inches. It looks like the water has probably come up about 10 foot, and this was an underpass. And obviously, you're not going to be getting in here at all, and it probably not for quite some time. And earlier, we spoke to several people who were nearby fishing, and they said that they were taking advantage of it, but one of them, James Whittington, said he hasn't seen the river this high since almost probably 3 decades. And let's listen to a little bit of what he had to say.
Real bad in 87. It's almost up to the beams on the bridge. We like to see it clean no river out there once in a while. I've been around here all my life. In the last 4 years, there's trees growed out in the middle of it and under the bridge, and that's the first time I'd ever seen that.
You heard him reference 1987. Well, 1987 was the year that the river hit 40 foot. That's the high point. Right now we're at 34 foot, and that's 9 foot above flood stage. Flood stage is 25 foot. And earlier this evening we got about an hour's worth of rain, and with more rain in the forecast, obviously there's a lot of concern about what this could mean for the Red River and for people who live around here. So obviously we'll be keeping an eye on this situation. I'm live in Gainesville. Tanya Iser, Channel 8 News.
Now, this damage unfolded over multiple days. After a night of relentless rainfall and tornado warnings, WFAA's coverage continued into the next morning as crews returned to the field to assess the damage and tell the stories that were still developing hours later. Now we continue with the morning broadcasts that picked up where the night left off.
Live from Victory Park, this is News 8 Daybreak Sunday.
Heavy rain, flash flooding, high water rescues as storms roll through North Texas. And a scary wake-up call. Tornado sirens sounded across Dallas and Tarrant counties overnight as North Texans take cover. And now to a live look at our radar. Rain still falling across our area. Now on Daybreak, everything you need to know before you head out the door this morning. And good morning and thanks for waking up with us on this Sunday, May 24th. I'm Carla Wade. We have crews that are all over North Texas covering this weather and the damage that was caused by flooding and storms. But first, we want to begin with Chief Meteorologist Pete Dalkis. He is in the Weather Center right now with the very latest. Good morning,
well, Carla, we still have rain that's falling across North Texas. As a matter of fact, the flash flood watch is in effect right through this evening. So more heavy rain in our forecast. Let me show you how much we've picked up at Dallas. This has just been since late yesterday evening, over 2.5 inches of rain in Dallas. That's the rainfall total there, 2.62. Fort Worth, a little bit lighter, almost an inch of rain in Fort Worth. A couple of our WeatherBug locations. A live picture here, the city of Arlington, over 2 inches of rain there. Peak wind gust overnight in Arlington, at least at that location, was 33 miles an hour. Temperature now in the upper 60s. Look at the rain there. You can see at Dr. Pepper Ballpark, the infield is soaked. An inch and a quarter of rain is picked up there, 38-mile-an-hour wind gust too. Temperature there is 66 degrees. So here's the way it looks right now. We have showers and thunderstorms, nothing severe. Flash flooding, yes. We have flash flooding across the area, but the Dallas-Fort Worth area currently seeing just widespread rain. Now, it's not soaking in, so it's running off. We have ponding of water all over the place. Flash flooding area wide right now. A little wider look at the radar shows that. As we look at the rest of North Texas, anywhere from the Red River right through Ellis County, Johnson County, even farther to the south and southeast, widespread showers and thunderstorms are in place. We'll keep this widespread rain around as we head through the morning hours. Let me take you through the time. At 9 o'clock in the morning, the rain is still in place. As we head toward the noon hour, we start to see a bit of a break in the rain. We still have some spotty rain around, but the widespread 100% coverage will slowly come to an end. We'll keep a little bit of rain around as we head through the afternoon hours as well. So it's 100% now. It tapers off to about 30 or 40% by 6 p.m. And then as we head through the overnight, I don't have a whole lot of rain in my forecast. This evening, overnight, by 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, not a whole lot of rain around. But then as we head through the day tomorrow, yet more rain in the forecast. So heavy rain stays in the forecast this morning, heavy rain in our forecast tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening, and a chance of severe weather. We had that chance of severe weather late last night throughout the afternoon and evening hours as well, and that's where our David Schechter is right now. David, I know you found some storm damage. Give us an update on that.
Yeah, Pete, we are at the Villas of Beaver Creek, it's called, in Irving. I'm going to walk you through. We found lots of carports over here. This is one of 3 that was, just basically flattened here last night, and lots of cars just really badly damaged. I'm not going to go under here because that's probably not a good idea, but these vehicles were badly damaged in the back. This one back here. Behind me, there's 2 more sets of carports that are back in this complex, and you can see up here, Greg's pointing up to this tree. This is what happened. It looks like there were some pretty powerful winds that came through here, snapped those branches, and I tried to lift a few of them up. They're quite heavy. This was a powerful wind that came through, and as we spin around a little bit further, I know it's a little difficult for you, Greg, I appreciate it. This is, I guess, Beaver Creek. Haven't spent a lot of time at Beaver Creek in my life, but I can tell you that this looks quite swollen right now. Part of a chain of creeks and little riverbeds around here that are part of the Trinity system, and this one is really starting to fill up. I want to show you also some video that we shot earlier this morning in Irving on MacArthur. I think it's 5601 perhaps was that address. It's an apartment, it's a building, an office building over there, where again they had these tree branches that snapped, and it looks like those branches then hit that building, causing some damage. We found some broken glass over there, and the entrance to the building was damaged. And then also by Northlake College, we found at least just one vehicle right there that had gone down into some high water. Inadvisable to go down there. I guess the guy stopped before he got all the way up to the high water, and then it started coming up to him. And as we were there, the tow truck came up to get him out of there. So, Pete, this location, the rain has obviously started falling pretty significantly here again, so it's just completely drenched. It's muddy everywhere, and now we have this significant damage to these, actually it's coming down even harder right now, to these vehicles back here. I would say there's probably If you count the ones that you can't see right now that we'll show you a bit later, I'd say there's probably 25 cars here that have sustained some kind of damage.
Yeah, and David, I have a couple questions for you here. So about 2:30 in the morning, there was a tornado warning issued for the Dallas-Tarrant County line, right there generally where you are. And I know it's hard to tell from what you maybe you've seen, but the question is it straight line wind damage or is it tornado damage? Do you have any idea? I know you've seen a lot of damage on both ends of that spectrum there. Any idea on your end as to what it may be?
Well, I don't know if this gives you some indication, and your expertise is much better, but what we saw and what you see here is the branches at a high level. Greg, if you want to pan back over there and you can get a sense. We haven't seen trees really pushed over and fallen over, but we've seen a lot of this snapping off, and I don't know if that is Pete, I don't know if that's a different indication as to a straight line wind or if this was something kind of setting down over here, but it looks like the winds were at a higher level. They didn't maybe get all the way down to the ground.
Okay, yeah, that is a good indication. And if it was any type of tornado damage, it may have been a brief spin up, maybe a brief touchdown of a weak tornado. But David, we certainly appreciate that information right there live in Irving this morning. I want to go to Brian Titsworth. He is in far northwest Dallas. And Brian, there have been some high water rescues there. Give me an update on that.
Yeah, hey, good morning, Pete. This is a notorious spot here in northwest Dallas. I'm at the intersection of California Crossing and Lunar Road, near the border with Irving. This is where one of the forks of the Trinity River here crosses through, and this is a spot at night. There's no street lamps and stuff to light up this place here, so it's just really a dark area, just with a lot of wooded area. But it's got a guardrail on one side. I guess drivers think they can follow along that guardrail. But if you can see in the distance there's a vehicle off to the right that's in water that's well up to the doors on that vehicle. So I would imagine the people inside that vehicle probably had a problem getting out of it. I'm told there was a rescue here. I haven't heard of any injuries. I passed the swift water rescue boat on the way out here. It didn't look like anyone was leaving in a hurry. So I think their work is done here. They've got obviously this roadway. This is California Crossing blocked here with a normal gate here that says obviously danger, high water. Obviously that car went through probably before they closed the gate. But overnight I was at a place over in Grand Prairie. I don't know if you can roll that video or if you have it, but there's another notorious spot on a street called West Tarrant Road where a creek runs across it in a flash flood style. And boy, I caught it just the right time. It was really moving swift. And sure enough, some people decided to go ahead and chance it. Out of about probably the 7 or 8 cars I saw, at least half, about a 50-50 split. Half of them turned around, the other half went across. I picked up one on camera, a little small yellow Dodge. I don't know if you can see the video, but he tried to cross the creek there and did make it. Flooded out right in the middle of it. And I was really worried for the guy. I actually called 911 for him because I really thought his car was just getting ready to float away. That was some pretty swift water at the time. They did actually come out and get him later, but the water was already started to recede, so no injuries or anything like that, so that's good. But really, folks just are really taking their life in their own hands, and they decide to cross swift water like that, and it's really a big no-no. Guys really shouldn't do that.
You know, and Brian, I'm watching that video. Can we roll that again? I mean, that's hard to believe with all the high water rescues that we have seen over the last several weeks that someone, I mean, and it's not a trickle of water. I mean, the water is rushing through there just like a strong stream or a very swift current. Can we play that again, Olivia? I know we're going to try to cue that back up. That's amazing that someone, look at that. Brian, they just drove right in there like that.
They really did. See, that wasn't the only vehicle. If you can see in the distance, I'm not sure what point of the video you can see, but there was another guy that came up right behind him and actually splashed water on his car. And that's when I was the most worried for him because, that created larger waves. And I really thought it was going to float that small car right into the creek. And boy, that was a really a good-sized creek at the time, and they would have been in some big problems.
Well, I guess the guy in the silver car thought, well, I've got a Mercedes, I'm going to give it a try.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of car it was, but yeah, he just really thought he could. He stalled out too. I don't know if you can see that in video.
Yeah.
He made it across and he stopped and stalled out. I mean, there was one that I didn't catch from video because I was busy getting some other shots, but he did the same exact thing. He decided to cross it, plowed right through it, almost floated that yellow car again. and he did actually barely make it. But you know, people are just really kind of goofy sometimes. They really shouldn't be taking those kind of risks in that kind of water.
No, there's no doubt about that. Brian, I appreciate the update. We'll check in with you a little bit later on. Thank you very much for that. That's live in northwest Dallas. And you can see the high water right there. That's a fork of the Trinity River. Well, welcome back again, everyone. I'm News 8 Chief Meteorologist Pete Delkus. I want to head to Johnson County right now. That's where Jamie Moore is. And Jamie, you're the Emergency Management Coordinator in Johnson County. You've had high water rescues once again this morning. Give us an update on what's happening, Jamie.
Well, you know, this has been an eventful morning. It's very reminiscent of a week ago today when we were doing high water rescues in the area of Alvarado, Venus, and Lillian. We've had that again this morning, starting with our first swiftwater call at 3 a.m. We've responded to 5 swiftwater calls since then. The majority of these calls today have been vehicles that have driven into high water and been washed off the roadways. And that's in contrast to last weekend, where the majority of the calls were homes that had been inundated with water. So we're at the point right now where we're watching and wondering if we're going to have home inundation, because, in fact, I'm sitting in Cleburne, and it's still raining very heavily here. So we have an ongoing situation where it's very dangerous across Johnson County, particularly that northeast part of the county, where we're very concerned about people getting out on the roadways and as well as the homes.
Well, Jamie, there in that really in central and eastern Johnson County, you have at least another hour of steady, moderate to heavy rain. What advice would you give people right now in your part of the Dallas-Fort Worth area?
Well, you know, the biggest issue right now is really the roadways, and although it's daylight, there's still the chance that you will drive through high water. So if people can stay home, particularly in those areas I mentioned of Alvarado, Venus, Lillian, Homestead areas that have been hit last weekend and also being hit again this weekend, we're hoping that they will just stay indoors. There's, you know, pass up church and pass up any trips that you have for today just for some hours to allow this water to recede. We saw last weekend that water had receded by noon or 1 o'clock, and the timing was very similar to this storm as far as when it came in and when it dumped water. So we're hopeful that towards the noon hour, or maybe 1 o'clock, if this rain will let up, that high water will have passed and the threat will be over. But until then, we really are urging caution.
Okay. Well, Jamie, I think that's the best advice right there. Just stay home, let the water go down. The rain will slowly taper off this afternoon, and the water will certainly recede. That's Jamie Moore, the Johnson County Emergency Management there for us one more time. We seem to talk to him every weekend now. So, Carla, more rain is in the forecast. In addition to that, damaging winds are in the forecast, very large hail as well. And we've already seen damaging winds. Those have occurred in Irving. That's where our David Schechter is. And, David, they had some problems overnight, didn't they?
Yes, they have, and I'm going to show you all that stuff. It's very glamorous out here. We're standing in the mud, in the rain, and it is just a mess. This is a carport. We're at the villas of Beaver Creek. Carport's obviously not built to withstand the apocalypse, but we do see damage like this once in a while. These tree limbs were basically just knocked straight off, what appears by very, very strong winds, and damaged all these cars here. There's another carport back there where they were all damaged, and a third carport down that way. So there's some localized winds here that swept through and just hit in, sort of a micro area of this apartment complex. We're right on a creek. The creek is swollen, full of water. And if I can show you some video from earlier in the day, earlier this morning that we shot, another instance of some high winds coming in on MacArthur Boulevard, again, snapping trees right over into buildings, and then we saw a couple of, it's hard to see in the dark, but we saw windows were knocked out when we went past there again, and some damage to that building. And then in another location, which is a pretty low spot near North Lake College, we saw a vehicle that was trapped in a high water situation, waiting for a wrecker to get there, so police immediately had shut down that area, knowing that it was a high water spot. So back here in at these apartment complexes, people are now starting to wake up, probably not very interested in coming outside and dealing with the rain right now, even if their cars are damaged. An interesting point I will say, Pete, is that every time I come on with you and we come out and stand in the rain, it rains harder. Is that something that you're doing back there, or what?
Well, it absolutely is something we're doing. We're here in the Weather Center going, let's pour on Schechter out there in Irving right now. So there you have it. And David, you have about another, if you stay out there with us, you have about another 2 or 3 hours of rain in the forecast, and some of it still will come down pretty heavily. I want to go to Jim Douglas now. I know, Jim, you've been out all night long. You're in Johnson County. You've seen flash flooding, and you've seen some rescues as well, haven't you?
Actually, the rescues took place earlier today, Pete, and those were mainly car rescues, not from the homes, as you heard earlier. We've been driving around. We're on 157. Sorry about that audio there. We're on 157. If you can see our live picture, we're just around the town of Venus. This is Reese Branch Creek, which came up across 157. It didn't get very deep here, but TxDOT did come out and barricade it off because, of course, it does take a lot of water to move a vehicle. And right now that water is receding, and we see the rain letting up. We haven't found water that's really threatening homes. We have found water pooled in yards, but not really threatening the homes. And only in this spot right here, we found water actually washing over the roadway. Other than that, it's just been pooling, and of course the bar ditches are running pretty quickly. But it's not all that bad out here at the moment, and the rain seems to be lightening up some people.
15 minutes, I think the rain will end in your part of Johnson County, so definitely improvement right there. Well, Jim, I appreciate that update. We'll check in with you a little bit later on. Not only North Texas right now seeing flooding, but major flooding is occurring south of Austin and Hays County. Corey Coffins reports from Wimberley.
So much activity overnight. As you can imagine, rescue crews are very busy. We are here at Ranch Road 12, where the road crosses over the Blanco River in Wimberley. Officials still have this bridge shut down. They are questioning the structural integrity of the bridge this morning because, as you can imagine, all of that high water swiftly running through overnight caused a lot of debris to flow onto the bridge and a massive downed tree we saw earlier with a lot of other debris coming in, as well as a downed utility pole bringing down power lines. Extremely unsafe. As you can imagine, this morning you could see some of those emergency personnel out there checking out the scene currently. And just taking a look around me, a lot of people taking a look at their homes and evaluating the situation of what has happened now that the sun has come up. You can see a lot of this debris sitting in the roadways. I want to take you now to footage from overnight, where we saw rushing waters completely cover that bridge that you just saw during the day. We also saw a lot of larger pieces of debris from households, moving refrigerators running down the road. There was even some structures we saw floating down the road. We weren't sure if it was part of a home or part of a business. It was incredible and very surreal to see these large pieces of debris in this historic flooding in the Wimberley area. And we also spoke with first responders who say that they have done at least 50 high water rescues. Let's hear from them directly.
Moved 30 plus people up to higher ground, and then we got word of a guy stuck in a trailer house. We were able to wade down there and make voice contact, and we weren't able to get there by foot, so we had to get the boat in and make contact by boat.
So let's just take you back out to the scene now in Wimberley this morning. If you look at in your viewpoint here, you can see there's an orange thing in the distance. That's a canoe. A resident right now evaluating the situation over there. This field is flooded, and we're told that there were several cabins over here. One gentleman we spoke to said his cabin is completely gone this morning. He says he just cannot believe this kind of flooding that we've had. I also want to direct your attention over here to the fields. You can see just the massive power of the flooded roadway and the waters rushing through. Everything completely packed down as it completely covered this entire vegetation. It is all completely down. We're even seeing chunks of the asphalt in the roadway here and in this field, complete chunks that are just crumbling in my hand. And as cars drive over it to evaluate their situation, it turns out they're actually causing some buckling in the roadway. That's very scary. That's another reason you do not want to drive over these floodwaters. You might think it's only a few inches, but you have no idea what's actually underneath that roadway. And if something comes down, you might end up in a sinkhole or even worse and need more rescue.
Just some incredible pictures from central Texas there. We have widespread flooding this morning. We're going to leave you right now with a live look. This is at I-30 westbound that's heading toward Grand Prairie. You can still see the rain still coming down.
Louisville Lake up more than 9 feet right now. The gates, though, are closed, and the excess water is just going over the spillway at this hour. All of that water eventually joining up with the already swollen Trinity River. Channel 8's Todd Unger is live at Louisville Lake right now and brings us the latest on the situation there. Todd.
Jason, you know, right behind me would usually be filled with a ton of people on a holiday weekend like Memorial Day. But the long and the short of it is there is just simply too much water here at the lake. And I want to go to some Twitter video that the Louisville Emergency Management just posted about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago. It shows, as you mentioned, that spillway now that is right at that 532-foot level we've been talking about. Isn't a lot of water going over yet, but that may change as water levels here are still rising, even though we've been dry, not a lot of rain here at all this afternoon or into the early evening hours. As you might imagine, there has been a steady stream of people coming out here, some of them actually quite anxious to take a look at these flooded areas.
It's getting crazy. So hopefully it's not that bad later on. It's gonna keep raining, dropping, you know.
You've never seen it this bad?
No, not this bad. I mean, we've seen it bad, not full, but not this full.
So it is a pretty rare thing, actually, to have that spillway. It's only happened 7 or 8 times from our understanding. Now, the Army Corps of Engineers says it is working as it should. They are, of course, monitoring this situation. We're going to keep an eye on it. We'll bring you the very latest tonight at 10. We're live in Louisville. Todd Unger, Channel 8 News.
All right, Todd, thank you. You must have been a pretty strong sleeper if you didn't wake up a few times as those storms roared through overnight. And for some unlucky people, they woke up to wind damage and high water all around DFW. We've already told you about the EF1 tornado today in Irving. Channel 8's Carla Wade now shows us what else happened around North Texas.
This Sunday morning began much like last Sunday morning did, with heavy rains, high water, and drivers tempting fate. The driver of this car plowed right into high water on West Tarrant and Grand Prairie. He says it was so dark he couldn't see the water covering the road.
I didn't have no clue, like I didn't even see it. There's no lights or anything.
And he wasn't alone. Another car drove into the high water right behind him, also getting stuck. Rescue crews were called, but decided to let the waters recede before going in to help. Strong winds tore the roof off of a car wash in the 1500 block of Polo Road. Even a brick portion of the building was torn apart. The water went down as the sun came up, but it still caused problems. At I-20 and Carrier Parkway, where water tends to pool, a flood gauge sign is posted near the road. There was also storm damage in Irving. Downed tree limbs and this carport came down on top of several vehicles at an apartment complex. By mid-morning, flooding still a major problem in Grand Prairie. Firefighters went door to door in the Willow Bend Mobile Home Park, urging people to evacuate their homes because of an increasingly swollen creek nearby.
It's kind of worrisome because, I mean, you're leaving all your belongings back there. But like I said, that comes second.
Safety first, even not knowing when they can return. Carla Wade, Channel 8 News.
Live from WFAA, this is News 8 at 10.
Oh my God! Some terrifying moments in Texas today as flooding gets worse. Some rescues taking hours.
Please don't leave. Please don't leave. I'm here for you. I'm here for you. And he was just like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry.
And a developing story tonight. 3 members of a Texas family missing after a wall of water swept away a house.
There is flooding all across Texas tonight. Welcome to News 8 at 10. I'm Jason Wheeler. Let's set the scene for you all over the state right now. We know now that 2 tornadoes touched down in Dallas County early this morning. That's according to the National Weather Service. One of them was in Irving, the other in far north Dallas into Farmers Branch. They were both EF1 tornadoes. Here's a look at some of the damage left behind by the twister in Irving. The 100-mile-an-hour winds knocked down carports, as you see there, and caused damage at an apartment complex. And when is the last time we saw the Trinity River looking like this? The water cresting at 40 feet tonight. And police are warning people not to enter the levee on foot and to avoid these potentially dangerous spots all around the Trinity. There is a lot of water out there. Meantime, this is a live look from our Victory Park Tower cam tonight. We don't know if this one is weather related, but a water main has broken around Victory Park. Water has been filling the streets and is still on the roads out there right now. In fact, it forced us to broadcast from our Young Street studios tonight. The streets out there have been completely underwater in some spots around Victory Park. Olive and North Houston have been blocked off. Water has been rising in the area for more than an hour now. And while the rain may be taking a break for a few hours, it is shaping up to be another wet week ahead, just when we don't need any more, Colleen.
I know, and I have to say, Jason, I was driving to work, and we've been working crazy hours. I'm a little delirious. I turned the corner and I'm like, oh, there's a lake outside of Victory Park.
And it hasn't been raining for the past several hours.
I'm checking. I'm like, I've checked the radar all day. It's not raining. Where is this from? So yeah, I've been doing some extreme things to not get to work. I mean, come on. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But yeah, we have more rain on the way. And also, it's been a very active severe weather season, a very active year with tornadoes. And I want to show you a few stats to put this into perspective. So far this year, we have seen 47 tornadoes this year for North Texas. Now, the average number of tornadoes per year in North Texas is around 25. So, of course, we are well above that. And the last time we saw this many tornadoes was 50 back in 1996. That was the last time we saw something a little bit equivalent to what we've seen for this year. And the most tornadoes we've ever had in a year was back in 1994, and that was 82 tornadoes. And also, to put this into perspective, we only saw 4 tornadoes last year, and already we are up to 47 this year. So, very active severe weather season, especially including those 2 EF1 tornadoes that touched down overnight. Flash flood watch is also in effect. I got pretty much everything in the forecast. Of course, we have another chance for severe weather as we head into tomorrow. And along with our severe thunderstorm chance, we also have that flash flooding chance. And especially with all the heavy rain that's already fallen, the soil's already saturated, the lakes are already up, the rivers are already up. And so any additional rain could pose some problems here for North Texas. So this does include the entire Dallas-Fort Worth area with an additional 1 to 3 inches possible before we round out the Memorial Day weekend. We already had record-breaking rain today at DFW, 3.3 inches of rain. That's a new record for today, so even more on the way. However, a nice night tonight. We've had the clouds clearing out. Not much in the way of rain overnight, maybe a few spotty showers off to the east, but most areas will remain dry. It's tomorrow that we'll be watching the skies once again, especially during the afternoon and evening. Here's a timecast starting midnight into 6 a.m. Again, maybe a spotty shower or two. Not much going on as we head into the morning hours. And then around noontime, could see a few developing showers, some thunderstorms off to the northwest of us around Vernon and Wichita Falls. And there's our next complex starting to develop a line of showers and thunderstorms right around 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. So after about 5 o'clock tomorrow, we'll be watching for any stronger thunderstorms as this complex starts to roll through the Dallas-Fort Worth area and then rolls off to the east of us as we head into about midnight and moving on into Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, even into next weekend. I have rain chances all the way through. So I'll talk more about that. Your full 7-day forecast coming up.
All right, Colleen, we continue our coverage now. Of course, the rain filling up our lakes at an unbelievable rate. 2 of them specifically, Joe Pool Lake in Dallas County and Louisville Lake in Denton County. Channel 8's Todd Unger joins us now live with a look at the conditions at both of those bodies of water. Todd?
Jason, there were a handful of evacuations here at Joe Pool overnight. Fortunately, everyone is okay. But that larger question still remains for anyone living near any type of body of water here in North Texas. Just how much more can we really take? If there ever were too much of a good thing, then North Texas might be in the middle of it.
From this end to that end was
underwater.
Yeah, was underwater.
Overnight, families living in the Willow Park mobile home community in Grand Prairie were forced to evacuate as a nearby creek became swollen.
Once they came to knock in the morning, I went outside and it was so at 1.5. feet.
At Louisville Lake, water started pouring over the 532 feet threshold for the spillway on Sunday afternoon. The emergency manager took this video.
Full, but not this full. So hopefully it don't get worse.
Some roads around the lake remain impassable. Many boat docks are off limits. At Joe Pool Lake, it's the same story, 100% full and rising. And with more rain expected Monday evening, the question for many that live near the water is where will it go and when will it end?
We're probably going to have to move. We're going to have to just stay somewhere else.
We did also speak today with the Army Corps of Engineers. Of course, they're monitoring a lot of these lakes, especially up there in Louisville. They say so far everything is working like it should with that spillway. They're going to be tracking that overnight and into tomorrow. As Colleen mentioned, another big chance for storms in the afternoon and the early evening. We're live tonight in Grand Prairie. Todd Unger, Channel 8 News.
These images show the scope of the damage. Homes inundated, so many lives disrupted, and entire neighborhoods forced to navigate the aftermath. For many, the floodwaters marked a moment they won't forget, a clear line between before and after the storm.